What's going on, everyone? So let the Giannis and Spurs rumors and speculations begin. You're already getting a ton of reports that the San Antonio Spurs are expected to be in play for Giannis Antetokounmpo. It appears that Giannis's time with the Milwaukee Bucks is coming to an end, and the San Antonio Spurs make a lot of sense. San Antonio was linked to Giannis this past offseason, and makes sense that he would be linked to them once again as you inch closer to the trade deadline. I still think Spurs are probably one of the best destinations for Giannis, right? This team is better than advertised, better than expected. Giannis would fit in, I think, seamlessly. He solves kind of the biggest need that this team has, which is a clear-cut starting four. Giannis could slot in at the four. Wemby could be your five. You got De'Aaron Fox, right? Probably, you're going to have to give up one of Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper, but at some point, you're going to have to make decisions on him, De'Aaron Fox, and Dylan Harper regardless. So you have Fox. Fox has been really good. You want to win now. Probably lean towards Fox. Probably trade Stephon Castle and go Dylan Harper, because Dylan Harper I just think is better offensively sound. And if you have Giannis and De'Aaron Fox, you probably need kind of the two-way play, but you need his playmaking ability, his ability to apply rim pressure, spread the floor, all that stuff. I think you'd be the best defensive team in all the basketball, right? So you're not really worried about like Dylan Harper if he's not like a great stellar defensive player. But I mean, just think about it. I mean, you could have something like, De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper. You go Harrison Barnes, you go however, Carter Bryant, like you and me could be the three, starting three at that point, but probably Julian Champagnie, right? Unless they end up making some trade for some other piece or whatever. So yeah, let's say, Fox, Harper, Champagnie, Giannis, and Victor. I think you're the best team in basketball, right? Like if not one of the best teams in basketball. You got size, length, versatility teams. I mean, imagine teams having to deal with the two big lineup of Victor Wembanyama and Giannis. There's a lot of argument for the Spurs and Victor Wembanyama. My question is, how serious are the Spurs about getting Victor Wembanyama? Based on reports, so the Spurs are expected to aggressively pursue Giannis to pair him with Victor Wembanyama, and this is from both the Dallas Hoops Journal as well as Full Court Pass. And then also, according to Evan Sidery, the Spurs are viewed as by a handful of league executives as the most realistic destination for Giannis Antetokounmpo if he's traded this season. The San Antonio Spurs present Milwaukee an ideal package of future draft picks alongside with premium prospects or win now players in De'Aaron Fox. So they want kind of the win now element of it. Here's De'Aaron Fox. If you want kind of young prospects to build for the future, here's a Stephon Castle, something like that. If you're the Spurs and you're going to get, I know a lot of people, because every time I talked about this, even in the offseason, I had people go, I'd rather keep Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper. The thing is, if you're gonna go get Giannis, right, you're in, that's it. Like, you're in win now mode. You're not in a, hey, let's let Stephon Castle spend the next 2 or 3 years figuring it out, right? Hey, right now the turnovers, the heavy turnovers, it's fine. I've talked about it all the time. Not really worried about it. Not a concern of mine. But if you go get Wemby, it now becomes a concern because you need to win right now. You don't have 2-3 years for Stephon Castle to figure things out and Dylan Harper to come into his own and all that other stuff. No, you need to win today. So De'Aaron Fox just makes the most sense, right? And yes, it would suck to give up Stephon Castle, but you have Dylan Harper who, look at it like this. At some point, you're going to have Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, and Victor Wembanyama at max salary under the new CBA and all that stuff, right? At some point, right, Giannis is going to have the decline, right? But Wemby's only going to improve and get better. So you're going to have that, that like the Admiral and Tim Duncan type thing, right? But then also when Giannis falls off, then you clear that cap space rather than having Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and and plus De'Aaron Fox. Like there's the potential point where you have potentially 4 max contract guys, right? Like where this might even just long-term financially make more sense. And then you'd still have Dylan Harper and Victor Wembanyama long-term, and Carter Bryant if he becomes a stud. That I've said it before. I wouldn't be shocked if Carter Bryant becomes the best player out of everybody, not named Victor Wembanyama, right? So you'd still have enough of a young core and all that stuff for the future in a post-Giannis era, right? Like, so it would suck to lose Stephon Castle because he has been so good. But if Dylan Harper becomes anything close to what Dylan Harper is, you're probably the best team in all of basketball. And you know what will make losing Stephon Castle digestible? You go win multiple championships. If the Spurs trade for Giannis and win 2 championships, then who cares? Right? I mean, you could have Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, and Victor Wembanyama for their entire careers, 20-year career, and might never win a championship. It is so hard to win a championship in this league, right? Like, the Spurs had a time where it seemed the norm, but that isn't really the norm, right? So again, Giannis immediately becomes the best player on that team, right? Wemby, you can make an argument for, but Giannis right now, I think, is better than Wemby. I think Wemby's getting there, don't get me wrong, but Giannis right now I think is the best. He's one of the 2-3 best players in all of basketball. I think Wemby's in that 5 to 7 range, right? Like, so to me, you'd have 2 top 5 to 7 players in all of basketball. You'd have the best defensive front court in all of basketball. You'd have, the best defensive team in all of basketball. You have 2 guys who will get you 40 plus on any given night. You'd have De'Aaron Fox, who can kind of be that veteran guy. Again, you're in win now mode if you go get Giannis. Right? You could put the package together, and but the thing is, like, you could still be in win now mode and still have young pieces and prospects and players and stuff. And Spurs have like other teams' picks and all that stuff. So they could probably replace and get other young guys and stuff. Like again, you have to give something to get something. Again, this is assuming the Spurs really want Giannis, right? If they really want Giannis, it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what any of us think. If they want Giannis, they have the ability to get him. If they have to give up Stephon Castle to go get Giannis, they'll probably give up Stephon Castle to go get Giannis, right? But I wouldn't hate them if they did. I think it makes sense. Now, again, I have no issues with them staying the course, right? If Giannis, there's a lot of talks about Giannis wanting to go to New York. Fine, let him go to New York. He wants to go to New York, let him go to New York. Stay the course. That's fine. But I'm saying if Giannis is like, hey, you know what? I would like to go to the Spurs, and the Spurs could put together that package, again, it'd be kind of hard to say no to that. I think if you're the Spurs, you do it. All right, but we'll see. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? How do you feel with your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Kind of mixed in the middle. Do you want to see them go and get Giannis? Do you think no, absolutely not? Stay as far away from Giannis as possible. What would you give up for Giannis? There'll probably be a couple more Giannis videos down the pike, I assure you. But anyway, let me know either way down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. If you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.